The Earth resembled the planet of the apes. Indeed, the path to becoming humanity turned out to be a lengthy one. It started in Africa about 7 million years ago when our branch separated from the branch of our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees. Our ancestors still looked like apes nearly 4 million years later. At least 1 million years ago, a ghost ancestor roamed the planet, possessing a face similar to yours. The modern face, with a flat profile where the nose prominently protrudes, emerged at least 1 million years ago in the region between Eastern Africa and Southern Europe. The secret of this claim lies in a bone from the middle of the face, discovered in Spain. This bone, the upper jaw, belonged to a boy who inhabited the area around 900,000 years ago. His appearance was sufficiently contemporary to avoid drawing attention on a crowded street. Body parameters, height, and configuration are also close to those of modern humans. This ghost represents the source of current humanity. We still do not know who it was, as this pertains to a very obscure period, 1 million years ago, with scarce fossils. The ghost with a contemporary face could have originated from the African Homo ergaster, or even from the Eurasian Homo georgicus, which existed in present-day Georgia 1.8 million years ago. So far, Homo antecessor fossils are the closest thing we know about the ghost. This is extremely intriguing due to the enigmas and abundance of questions enveloping our ancient kin. The largest puzzles likely relate to the reasons and mechanisms of their extinction. Soon, we will uncover the truth about all the secrets connected to our forebears. However, fresh fossils, tools, and analyzers of old and current genomes are dismantling this coherent narrative. The dust has not fully settled yet, and now the question arises: how many, if any, of the previous hypotheses remain valid? Everything from identifying our final ancestor, the moment our species departed from Africa, and subsequent events, requires adjustment. This is a fascinating era for exploring the human saga. Without doubt, more surprises lie ahead. Europe is a small peninsula that, by chance, boasts a vast amount of impressive archaeological discoveries, including some nearly 1 million years old. Homo antecessor possesses a special set of characteristics in the skull, teeth, and lower jaw, which overall distinguish it from other fossils rather than any isolated trait. These characteristics demonstrate a combination of contemporary and ancient features. The brain volume is about 1,000 cubic centimeters compared to 1,350 cubic centimeters in today's people. Although Neanderthal brains had roughly the same dimensions as those of modern individuals, from them we learn that magnitude does not always determine everything. The distinction between modern human brains and ancestral ones has been identified. It is the concentration of neurons in the brain, not just its size. Regarding the emergence of modern humans, the anthropological world views it as a magnificent evolutionary breakthrough. But with Neanderthals, the situation is different. One of the open enigmas surrounding Neanderthals: why was their breakthrough not as effective as that of modern humans? Likely, our forebears in Eastern Africa intermingled with the tiny Homo naledi, and their compact brains carried the gene for increased neuron density, which we inherited. Perhaps Homo naledi had a miniature but saturated brain. This would explain their apparent cleverness, contradicting the small brain sizes. Homo naledi fossils have been found in Kenya and South Africa, indicating a broad geographic zone of their habitation. And now, many archaeologists even doubt whether stone tools and other artifacts attributed to early modern humans in that area actually belong to Homo naledi. Scientists suspected that this protein could enhance the multiplication of neural precursors, which turn into neurons during brain formation, specifically in the zone called the neocortex, a section responsible for cognitive abilities. According to experts, this could provide modern humans with an advantage in cognition. The variant of the gene in modern humans, known as TKTL1, differs from the Neanderthal one by just one amino acid block. This replacement is present in nearly all current individuals, but in extinct archaic humans, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and other ancients, such a mutation is absent. In particular, in modern humans, TKTL1 includes arginine at the problematic sequence position, whereas in Neanderthal TKTL1, it is the related amino acid lysine. For some experts, the idea of a neural mutation is the simplest interpretation of the divergence between anatomy and human behavior. Fossilized skulls convey little about the brain inside, but a gene mutation could have transformed key neural mechanisms, like speech and language. The sudden emergence of human culture over a remarkably short interval remains one of the chief mysteries of human evolution. The skull is endowed with numerous contemporary features, including a modern-type face, deepened cheeks, and a protruding nose. Ancient traits encompass a low forehead and a doubled brow ridge, similar to Asian Homo erectus and Neanderthals, plus a prominent occipital bulge at the back of the skull. Teeth and jaws also bear primitive traits, including extremely durable teeth. The face of Homo antecessor, strikingly akin to that of current humans, could have deep roots in our genus. In reality, the modern human face could have developed and faded multiple times in past eras, which is quite plausible as facial structure significantly depends on diet and environment. In other words, the contemporary face of Homo antecessor is actually quite ancient, and our species preserved it, unlike Neanderthals, whose faces evolved more strongly. Either way, Homo antecessor is likely a more accurate guide to the appearance of our direct forebear than Homo heidelbergensis or Homo ergaster. At the very least, one can assert that the processes of facial growth and brain expansion in Homo antecessor are integrated to form, at such an early stage, a more modern human face than in any other known fossil species. Consequently, the growth mechanisms shaping the facial morphology of Homo antecessor are similar to those in modern humans. For millions of years, while the hominid brain evolved, our forebears acted more as victims than predators. In the current era, the Holocene, the planet has essentially become an arena for humanity, but the Pleistocene was far more frightening. In the role of prey, the past did not seem cozy for people and their ancestors. Early humans were skilled at pursuing prey by hurling stones, so-called Stone Age projectiles, with remarkable mastery. Long before the creation of the spear, prehistoric ancestors flung rocks to fell prey on the African plains. Small rock fragments, often the size of a tennis ball, still scatter key archaeological zones. Although other beasts sometimes toss objects, no one matches a trained human in speed, precision, and range. Indeed, humans are specially adapted for throwing, both anatomically and mentally. An advantage of the modern human brain is that it enables looking beyond spatial and temporal boundaries, helping to evade the role of victim. Throwing played a decisive role in our evolutionary path, allowing both hunting prey and competing with other carnivores for carrion. The capability to inflict damage or kill from afar not only expands the food assortment, but also minimizes the danger of direct contact with formidable prey. Prehistoric trappers had to evaluate the dimensions and weight of the stone, selecting the optimal ones. Too light and the damage is minimal, too heavy and it won't fly far. Similar stones have been found alongside Homo georgicus in Eurasia and Homo ergaster in Africa. This visual task required intellectual effort to study stone qualities, learn from misses, and pick suitable ones. Specialists believe that many stones were probably gathered elsewhere and brought to the camp for launching. This confirms their effectiveness as weapons with an overhand swing, and we know ancient humans threw powerfully and accurately. The skill to throw far was no trifle. It was exactly how we obtained sustenance. We are the only creatures, and even the only primates, possessing such a gift. Studies indicate that stone throwing was central to the development of hunting before the spear era. In fact, Homo erectus possessed the same throwing skill as current humans, and throwing could have been a key factor in early human evolution. All this points to the use of stones in collective hunting, joint actions to down prey or drive off carnivores from a carcass. This is no novelty about humans, but sociality is a reliable indicator of voluminous brains and intellect. Nevertheless, solutions to the enigmas around our forebears are evident. The planet resembled the planet of the apes throughout the main part of human history. We coexisted, but as genes clearly show, we often mingled with various hominins, including some yet unidentified. Over this long span, diverse human species existed, developed, and faded, intertwining and sometimes interbreeding. With time, their bodies changed, as did brains and thinking abilities, reflected in tools and technologies, but they fell away one by one, leaving our species as the sole embodiment of humanity. And by evolutionary standards, some species vanished quite recently.